Good afternoon, everyone. Subcommittee will come to order. If I could ask the clerk to open the roll for attendance, and members could please indicate your presence when that comes online. All right. The clerk will close the roll. We have a quorum. All right, first, real quick order of business. We just received a re-refer from Transportation of Delegate Cherry's 2702. However, after speaking with the patron, we recognize we're going to try to buy a little bit more time, moving it to the right committee to give him some time to work on it. But I think there's an agreement that it's going to need a little bit more time to work on. So the action that the patron has agreed to is to lay the bill on the table. But we would like to then ask the chair to accompany that with a chair's letter to the Ethics Council. And so if I could hear a motion to gently lay House Bill 2702 on the table.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll, and I will make note in my recommendation of the full committee that we will ask Chair Bulova if you would consider writing a letter to the Ethics Council to further explore this issue. Clerk will close the roll. All right. And I know Delegate Shen has to get to another committee, so I'm going to have you come up. But I do have some action with this as well, that we had an identical bill also on our docket, which is House Bill 2280. And so if we can entertain a motion to roll House Bill 2280 into Delegate Shen's 2779.
So I would like to move.
Not identical.
Hold on.
Oh, they're not identical.
But sorry, I don't know if that matters.
It doesn't
I just wanted
matter.
you to
Yeah, no, okay, I'm sorry, thank
No,
you
I'm
for,
sorry.
it's not, just for the record, not identical, but similar, similar enough. And is that the expected action, Delegate Shin, is to roll them, is that?
That's great,
Okay,
thank you.
all right, perfect. Okay, so we are going to roll House Bill 2280 into House,
That's different than what you gave me before. You sure you got the right one? What's the bill
I have
we're
House
on?
Bill
2280.
2280. 2280 is going to be
To
rolled,
27.
680 before, it's 2280.
2280
To
is going to be
2779.
rolled into 2779.
That's the motion I'm making.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
All those in favor?
The, is that a voice?
voice
That's a voice vote? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Delegate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the bills are rolled together. Delegate Shen, if you would like to go
Thank you,
ahead and
Madam
present
Chair.
the bill. And
I
you do have
think
a
on-
substitute, I believe.
Yes, on top of this, there's also a substitute now, so.
I made the substitute. Second.
All right, substitute has been moved and seconded. Delegate Shen.
All in favor?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members.
Sorry, you know, it is, I say this here, it is a team effort, because I always say this at this committee, that people look at this and they're going to say, it's only 4:30, it's not that late, but when you've been operating at the pace we have been, it feels like midnight. So it is a team effort today. Thank you for the leadership of the committee. So we're going to adopt your substitute. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, now your substituted bill is before us, and I'm going to drink some coffee and listen to this
Thank you,
bill.
Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair and Delegate Krizek, for your help. I wanted to start with a little bit of background first, because the Office of New American, or the New American Advisory Board, was created in 2020 thanks to some legislation that was passed by our colleagues, Delegate Kathy Tran and Senator Hashmi. It was established as an advisory board in the executive branch for the purpose of advising the governor, cabinet members, and General Assembly members on strategies to improve state policies and programs that support the economic, linguistic, and civic integration of new Americans throughout the Commonwealth. The bill before you today does three simple things. First, it expands the membership of the Office of New American, or the New Americans Advisory Board, from 18 to 21. It adds the Secretaries of Commerce and Trade, Education, Health and Human Resources, Labor, Public Safety and Homeland Security, and Transportation to the list of ex officio non-voting members of the board. And third, it lifts the 4 meetings per year cap, because right now they're limited to only having 4 meetings per year. These are recommendations that came directly from the advisory board as reported in their first annual report dated back in October 2021, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from the committee? Hearing none, is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this bill?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Andre Lepon, and I'm the chair of the Office of New Americans Advisory Board. I want to say that we could not have had this bill without the bipartisanship and leadership of Delegate Owen, and I also greatly appreciate Delegate Shin's leadership and role in perfecting this bill, and I hope it is the pleasure of the committee to vote yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone here in opposition to the bill? All right. Any other comments or questions from the committee or a motion?
I move that we report the substitute bill.
Moved and seconded to report the bill. Clerk will open the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair and
Close
members.
the roll. Your bill reports. Thank you, Delegate Shin. All right. All right. Next, we do have another item where we have similar bills that patrons have been, to my understanding, working together for a solution. We have House Bill 2195, patroned by Delegate McQuinn. Delegate McQuinn's here. And then we have House Bill 2355, patroned by Delegate Wilt. And my understanding is the agreement is we are going to roll House Bill 2355 into Delegate McQuinn's House Bill 2195, and then hear Delegate McQuinn's bill. So can I first hear a motion to incorporate?
I move that we roll 2355 into 2355 into 2195.
All right. It's been moved to incorporate those bills. The clerk will open the roll.
No, it's all those in favor.
Yeah, that's,
Voice
I
vote.
mean,
That is a voice
that's a
vote.
voice.
Okay, I saw it coming up on the screen, and I was
Yeah.
second guessing myself there. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. The incorporated bills are incorporated. Delegate McQuinn, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. Now that it's incorporated, now I guess it's a substitute. Do I need to move the or it's already, that is the substitute?
Make a motion to move the substitute.
Okay.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the substitute is before us. Delegate McQuinn.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this, in terms of this substitute, basically, and all is that we're at peace now, so we've worked out everything, all of the logistics, and ready to move forward. So there are three things that the bill would do. It would incorporate, I guess, the consumer protection language would be incorporated into the bill. DPOR will study the bill in consultation with the Virginia Department of Health and industry professionals, and then this study will be concluded in January the 1st of 2026. And this is, once again, the mold bill that we've all been talking about. How do we address it and address it in a way that will benefit the constituency that are often complaining about what they're dealing with and not getting the support to address the challenges that are often in the homes and apartments that many of them live. So we do have several folks here that would like to speak to the bill in support, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
If that's enough explanation.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. Before we hear any testimony, is there anyone with any questions from the committee? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and have anyone who is here to speak in favor of the bill, please come forward to the podium. And we do have a pretty big docket, and so if we can limit comments to about 2 minutes a piece, that would be great.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Andrea Jackson, and I'm a part of the Waynesboro chapter of Virginia Organizing, as well as the statewide Housing and Environmental Justice Committee. I'm here today to share our support of HB 2195. Over the past few years, our chapters across the state have heard from many tenants and low-income homeowners just how difficult it is to identify and remediate mold in their homes. Not only is it very difficult to hold landlords accountable for addressing the mold, but when you finally do, the mold remediators and inspectors that they do hire are untrained and do a very poor job. Mold is not something that should be taken lightly. It has serious health implications and can cause asthma, headaches, and long-term respiratory issues. If we are regulating professions such as electricians and cosmeticians or hairdressers, because we understand the health risks to the customers, we should not have any questions that something as hazardous as mold should be done by a trained professional. Thank you for listening to my statement.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, just want to thank the delegates for their work together on this bipartisan bill, and we continue to support this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Gustavo Espinosa with the Legal Aid Justice Center. As a community organizer, my job involves knocking on doors and asking people, how is your family doing? What's going on? One of the most common things, other than my rent has been increased, is there's mold in my apartment. I'm sure of it. It's hurting my kids. It's hurting my family. So today I'm speaking on behalf of the Legal Aid Justice Center as well as the Allies for Housing Action and two warriors specifically who cannot be here today to testify but would love to speak in support of this bill. One of them came with the General Assembly with me in 2021 or 2022, and now because of the health consequences, not just physically but emotionally of the experience of living in a home riddled with mold that hasn't been remediated, being moved to another apartment that also has issues, she does not feel comfortable coming again and advocating. And then another warrior just won a case against her landlord last Friday. The attorney is sitting in the audience, Victoria Horak with Legal Aid Justice Center. And in her situation, there were non-professionals that came into her home, looked around. I'm talking about maintenance staff, leasing agents that just look around and say, I don't think there's any mold in here. I think you're fine. And then professionals came and assessed and found serious mold, such that a wall had to be taken down in the kitchen to remediate the mold. I also hear often about mold being remediated by spray painting over the issue or taking a Clorox wipe and running it over the wall. That is not professional, qualified remediation. Already, tenants struggle to get any kind of attention from their landlord, and when that attention is found, it needs to be by a qualified expert. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. Christy Mara with the Virginia Poverty Law Center. I just want to echo the comments of my colleague Gustavo, who just spoke. We still and have for many, many years heard from tenants across the state that mold is a significant problem, and so we strongly support this measure.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, Robbie Bradshaw on behalf of the IICRC, and we support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, thank you. This is Kashish Pillay with New Virginia Majority, and we associate our comments with those before us. We strongly support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. And online, we have a couple people signed up. Is Jocelyn Hillebrand, are you in the room online?
I am. Hello, my name is Jocelyn, and I'm here with my 3-year-old daughter. We live in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm here as a member of Virginia Organizing in the Statewide Housing Committee. We are so grateful to Delegate McQuinn and Delegate Wilt for their bipartisan work on this bill. Last week, you heard testimony about the serious health hazards of mold and the urgent need for regulation in this occupation. I am one of many people who've experienced severe chest pain from mold exposure in a rental. Clearly, mold is a very serious issue that affects many in the state. Supporting this bill would give Virginians immediate protection under the Consumer Protection Act, including a minimum standard of care and best practices. Adding the Department of Health to the licensure study will help DPOR make a fully informed decision that prioritizes the public health and safety of residents. Please vote in favor of HB 2195. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the bill? All right, hearing none, I see a question from Delegate Lafwich.
Thank you, Chair Delaney. I intend to support the bill, but I just want to make sure I understand lines 222 through 226. And as I understand it, anyone in the Commonwealth can still engage in the practice of mold inspection and remediation. However, to hold yourself out as a certified mold inspector or mediator, you have to meet the criteria that's established by the board.
That's established by, yes, right. Yes.
So it's all about what you represent yourself out to the public, correct? This is what this bill really addresses.
You mean in terms of how you represent yourself toward the public?
Yes.
You're talking about those persons who do the remediation?
So I think that I guess really, I think what the bill's doing is it's saying is, in order to hold yourself out as a certified inspector, you have to meet the criteria.
Yes.
So it's all about how you represent yourself to the public.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
All right. If there's no other questions from the committee.
Madam Chair, I have a motion.
All right. Delegate Krizek.
I would like to thank Delegates McQuinn and Wilt for bringing this forth and all the work that Delegate McQuinn has done, and to move that we report, or not, do we have to send this up to anywhere? No, we don't, right?
Nope.
Okay, so we just
Good.
that we report the substitute. Thank you. 2195.
Been moved and seconded. Clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll, and the bill reports unanimously. Thank you, Delegate. Appreciate your work on this.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee, for your patience in helping us to work through this. Appreciate it. And thanks to Delegate Wiltz as well.
Thank you. All right, Delegate Reeser, you have House Bill 2553.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Did you say, I didn't hear the bill number. I have two before you.
You have two bills.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Which one would you like to start with?
Could we start with 2736?
Okay. 2736. Do you have a substitute or no?
I do not.
Okay. Then the bill is before us. Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. HB 2736 is a bill that solves a really simple problem. Currently, military spouse careers are often interrupted by frequent moves required of the military members. According to Blue Star Families, the unemployment rate of spouses has hovered around 21% since the year 2015. Military spouse unemployment or underemployment can lead to retention and readiness issues as military members decide to leave the military to support their spouse's employment and family's economic needs. The Virginia Values Veterans Program that was created in 2015 has a grant that currently offers private employers with less than 300 employees $1,000 for every eligible veteran that they hire, up to $10,000 in grants per year. What this bill would do is expand the Virginia Values Veterans Program to include military spouses, and this would hopefully lead to Virginia retaining military veteran talent, as veterans are more likely to stay in a state or a Commonwealth when their military spouse is employed in a good job.
Thank you, Delegate. Any questions before we open for testimony? All right. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak in favor of the bill?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jasmine Gore. I am the Deputy Director for Transition and Employment Programs with the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. Just wanted to say that we are in support of this bill, and I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Online, to speak for this bill, I have Rick Dwyer.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. My name is Rick Dwyer, and I'm the Executive Director of the Hampton Roads Military and Federal Facilities Alliance. We are a regional organization that supports the 18 military bases, approximately 120,000 military, reserve, and civilian personnel, and their 125,000 dependents. We are in strong support of this bill for the reasons that Delegate Reeser highlighted, and ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in the room here to speak in opposition to the bill? Any questions from the committee?
I have a motion at the proper time.
All right, it's proper time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that this very excellent bill, House Bill 2736, reports.
Been moved and seconded to report the bill. Clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll and bill reports unanimously. Thank you, Delegate. And your next bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My next bill is HB 2553.
All right, any substitutes to present, or do we have it in its form before us?
I believe it's in its form before you.
All right, sounds good. Delegate, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. HB 2553 amends the Code of Virginia to allow the Advisory Board for the Professional and Occupational Regulation to review, advise, and recommend on the regulation and potential deregulation of professions and occupations overseen by the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation. So this would allow BPOR to advise the General Assembly on potential deregulation as well as regulation of the professions and occupations that DPOR oversees. A staff review showed that the statute imposes upon the board some limitations in what it's allowed to do. For example, you have a bill before you today to increase the regulation of the profession of geology from just a voluntary certification to mandatory licensure. At this time, BPOR would not be able to advise you on that bill. Staff also reviewed statutory powers and duties of the sister entity to BPOR, the Board of Health Professions, which is housed in the Department of Health Professions. And they found that the DHP enabling statute does give that board the power and duty to advise on matters relating to deregulation of health professions and occupations, as well as providing for that board to review and comment on the budget. So with this bill, the board would then be able to advise the General Assembly, the governor, and the DPOR director on matters related to both regulation and deregulation of professions and occupations, and to review and comment on the DPOR budget, which will hopefully assist in decision making. And this would allow an alignment between what the two advisory boards do.
Thank you, Delegate Reeser. Any questions from the committee? Anyone here to speak in favor of the bill?
Chair Delaney, members of the committee. Paul Battaglia, EVP of AIA Virginia, representing architects across the Commonwealth. Also a member of AIA Virginia. I am a licensed architect. I'm a regulant of Appel Sidla and DPOR. We support the bill.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Steve Kirshner from DPOR. We thank Delegate Reeser for bringing the bill and her eloquent explanation of what it does, and happy to answer any technical questions if you have them.
Delegate Fowler has a question. All right. Well, Delegate Fowler, I will recognize you for whatever you'd like to say.
Quickly, Madam Chair, I've been on general laws for a pretty good while, and one of the things I've noticed is almost every profession in Virginia wants to be regulated. In economics, we call that rent-seeking behavior. I think really it's high time that we take a look at this, and I appreciate Delegate Reeser bringing this bill forward. So, very good.
Thank you, Delegate. All right. Any other questions from the committee? Did I ask if anyone was here to speak against the bill? Okay. Hearing none. Any other
Madam Ch-
questions from the committee? Delegate Krizek.
Madam Chair, I move to report House Bill 2553.
Moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. Bill reports unanimously. Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
All right, Delegate Wiley, your geologists were invoked, so if you'd like to come up next for House Bill 1835, and you have two for us, right?
Yes, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, members of the committee. First bill is HB 1835. This bill establishes framework and requirements for Virginia licensed professional geologists. Same requirements for Virginia's voluntary certification, same standards of professional ethics and code of conduct for Virginia's voluntary certification. The board shall issue a license to practice as a geologist in the Commonwealth to any individual who holds an unexpired certification to practice as a geologist issued prior to July 1, 2025. As we know, geologists are critical to the health, safety, and welfare of both the public and environment across the Commonwealth. Currently, 32 states have some form of licensure for professional geologists. Virginia is the only one of these states that has a voluntary certification program. I have some folks that can help me speak to the matter. Any questions? I know there's probably going to be some rock jokes, so I'll yield back. And there's, by the way, I have an amendment in nature of substitute. I need to get moved.
All right, moved and seconded to adopt the substitute. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the substitute's before us. Go ahead, Delegate.
That was pretty much it.
Any other questions? Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Are there any questions from the committee at this time on this bill? No rock jokes? Like, we're up here kind of trying to collaborate, and we're coming up, I don't want to say it. Okay, Delegate Lefwich has one. Delegate Lefwich.
So I've looked under every rock on my desk. And I can't find a copy of the substitute. Do we have that book? Do we actually have a copy?
It's.
Council, is the substitute available online?
Yeah. I don't have my Surface Pro, my
Okay.
my
Oh, okay,
apologies.
I see what you're saying. Here we go. Are there any other questions from the committee at this time? Let's go ahead and take testimony, and then we can come back if there's questions on the substitute. Anyone here to speak in favor of the bill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris McDonald with Williams Mullen on behalf of the Association of Environmental and Engineering Geologists, or AEG. We thank the patron for bringing this. As was noted in his presentation, we are the only state right now that has a form of certification for geologists that's not mandatory. So we are looking to bring ourselves up to the industry standard, particularly as the practice of geology has really evolved and grown over the years. I'll briefly explain this substitute as well. I'll iron out the details. We included a provision here to ensure that all those with their current certification will be granted a licensure to avoid unnecessary workload on DPOR. This bill is supported broadly by the industry. In addition to AEG, it's supported by the Home Builders of Virginia, the American Institute of Professional Geologists, the Association of State Boards of Geology, the Virginia Water Well Association, Virginia Water Environment Association, and Virginia Association of Professional Soil Scientists. Again, we thank the patron, and we hope you'll support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, my name is Steve Pond. I am a certified professional geologist in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I'm here to voice my support of this bill. I have spent the last 30 years of my career working on important infrastructure projects that impact public safety, water supply projects, and economic development projects. This bill makes sense and it protects public safety. I urge you to consider your support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Preisner with the American Council of Engineering Companies. Geologists are an integral part of the engineering community, and we ask you to support this bill as they are a part of our community within the industry. Thank you all for your time, and we do support this bill.
Thank you. Any opposition to this bill? Any questions from the committee before we entertain motions?
I have a motion.
Delegate Krzyk.
This bill is quite the gem. I move that we report House Bill 1835.
It's been moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. With substitute, yes, thank you. All right, the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports. Thank you, Delegate Wiley. You've got one more with us.
Yes, Madam Chair. If you think that was exciting, I got another good one for you. House Bill 2503 is in front of you. This bill amends specific parts of the code to reference the Virginia Coordinate System of 2022. This bill ensures the code is updated to reference the Virginia State Plane Coordinate System of 2022, which will replace the current Virginia State Plane Coordinate System of 1983 in conformity with the updated, modernized State Plane Coordinate System of 2022 to be released by NOAA, NGS in 2025 or 2026. It amends 1-603 to change a reference that is no longer used, specifically the required conversion factor for converting measurements between meters and feet is being changed from the, quote, U.S. Survey Foot Conversion Factor, end quote, to the, quote, International Foot Conversion Factor, end quote. The bill includes a delayed enactment clause to tie the effective date of the act to the official release by NOAA NGS of the State Plane Coordinate System of 2022 and is certified by Old Dominion University to the State Code Commission, and I have folks from here from Old Dominion to speak to this matter as well.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee before we bring up testimony? All right, seeing none, anyone here in the audience that would like to come and speak in favor of this bill?
Madam Chair, I do have a line amendment. I do need to get moved. My apologies.
Okay, all right, let's handle that before we take testimony then. If you all could stand by, I hear a motion, and do I hear a second? Moved and seconded to accept the line amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the line amendment's before us. Is there anything about that, Delegate, you'd like to explain, or was that what was your summary including? Okay,
Yes,
nothing to add?
Nothing substantive.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I was just going to say the line amendment is purely technical in nature. I got a little overzealous when adding the zeros with the coordinates on line 94. After X equals strike 457, 2000 that has way too many zeros, and insert that correctly, 457, 200.
All right, so the correct numbers are in place. Thank you, Council. Okay, we can go ahead and hear testimony for the bill.
Madam Chair, Joanne Maxwell from VDOT. We support this bill. VDOT engages in a variety of functions involving surveying, mapping, et cetera. And this basically what this bill does will bring the Code of Virginia into compliance with a more updated system that's been going to be implemented by the NOAA. Here we expect in the next couple of years. So hence the second reenactment clause of the delayed enactment, just to make sure we don't get ahead of NOAA. But bottom line, it's going to be used in expressing and updating our expressions of boundaries on maps and surveys and that type of thing.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Annie Gibson with ODU. We do support the bill. We are happy as the administering agency to certify when the time comes.
Thank you. Anyone here to speak in opposition of the bill? Any other questions from the committee? Or a motion from the committee?
Madam Chair, I move to report House Bill 2503.
All right, it's moved and seconded.
As amended.
To report the bill as amended. The clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. And the bill reports unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members Committee.
Yeah, I just need to charge it. It was like getting to it. All right, let's see. Delegate Walker, you have two bills as well, if you'd like to. I know we've got others that are on the committee, but Delegate Walker, if you'd like to come up.
Madam Chair, in the lateness of this day, I have two wonderful bills. I hope this is going to make you feel better and make us all look better. So which one would you like for me to start with here?
I will let that be your preference.
Delegate Creasy, I'm not trying to talk you there, sir. But
All right.
which
Feel-
one?
Feel better.
I'm sorry.
But I'll leave it to your discretion.
It's this late. I'm sorry, what number?
Delegate, I think 2612. We'll start with that.
2612. Oh, this is one that makes you feel good here. All right. So, Madam Chair, members of the committee, HB 2612 seeks to increase the 500 hours to 625 hours. This is a minimum requirement for training in the massage therapy educational program for applicants for licensure as massage therapists. Of the 48 states that offer massage therapy licenses or certifications, more than 65% require a minimum of 600 hours. Increasing these minimum hour requirements not only aligns with Virginia with the rest of the country, but it reduces the red tape when massage therapists can move and transfer their license to other states. By licensing hours, it will align with the law with the U.S. Department of Education gainful employment regulations that requires massage therapists schools offering federal financial aid to have a program that at least meets 600 hours. But Virginia is still at the 500-hour requirement. To address these issues, 8 other states have already increased the massage therapy education program hours from last year, and I hope we can join them here in Virginia with the rest of these other states with this financial assistance here. And that is the bill before you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the committee for the patron? Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A question for the patron. I would ask the gentleman, I heard his statement about aligning with the rest of the country, but is there any specific groups here in the Commonwealth, Madam Chair, that is requesting this particular piece of legislation?
I'm sorry, but the last part, the Commonwealth has what?
Are there anyone in the Commonwealth, any groups in the Commonwealth that are specifically requesting this piece of legislation?
That I'm not sure I can give you a correct answer on, Delegate Cole, but, the bill is what it is. By increasing the hours, then it does help you to get the financial aid assistance, which in this case helps, a number of people out here. How many, I don't know, but whenever you can get financial assistance when you go into a training program, that always is a good thing, and it encourages people to stick with the program and get their licenses.
Okay. All right, if there's no other questions from the committee at this time, if anyone's here to speak in favor of the bill, please come forward. I'd like to hear your testimony.
Yes, hello. My name is Jonathan Malul. I am CEO of Saval Malul International Hair Academy. We train massage therapists under this current law. We are approved with SHEV. We're a nationally accredited school. This law has recently come to light. SHEV had a stakeholder call with massage therapy school owners in the state to try to bring some standardization to the training requirements for massage therapy. The SHEV was looking at the ELAP curriculum guidance, which is set at 625 hours, and they were indicating they were going to be issuing a guidance document that is going to be the curriculum standard that they will be reviewing and approving massage therapy curriculums against. Furthermore, the Massage Therapy Advisory Board under the Virginia Board of Nursing met on October 30th, 2024. I attended that meeting, and I heard the Massage Therapy Advisory Board members had made the recommendation to increase the hours from 500 to 625 hours. And then, as indicated, if a program is under 600 hours, it is not Pell eligible. Pell grants are grants to underserved students, which is money they do not have to pay back. By requiring the 500 hours, SHEV is going to potentially not grant the 625 hours. That's also going to conflict with the 150% federal regulation, which is then going to virtually any student who is looking to become a massage therapist in the state of Virginia is going to have to pay out of pocket. So they're going to be completely prohibited from having to be eligible for these grants. So this is directly affecting the underserved population. Lastly, the licensing compact that the board is looking to eventually get into would require 625 hours of training. So this is also to protect the licensure compact and mobility of the license. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone here to speak in opposition to the bill?
Madam Chairman, members of the committee, Becky Bowers-Lanier for the Virginia chapter of the American Massage Therapy Association. We're opposed to this bill at this time. Right now, I have the data that indicate that our neighboring states, for the most part, have a 500-hour for a curriculum. Georgia's not a neighboring, but does have 500. West Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and the District of Columbia all require 500 hours for their curriculum. We have no data right now that indicate having a problem with our graduates completing their curriculum, taking the exam, and practicing. However, if we want to go in that direction, we could look at it later on. This really did not come up through the Board of Nursing. The Board of Nursing has no minutes that indicate that this was a problem and that massage therapists are regulated under the Board of Nursing. So I don't think that this is the time to do this. I think we do need some time to have a more thorough discussion among stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Any final comments from the patron?
No, ma'am, you have heard the bill, and now it's time to move on to the next great bill.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Delegate Creasy.
I have a motion to lay this on the table, not the massage table, but the actual table here, but also with the caveat that next year you might want to come back and talk, go through and see what the nursing Board of Nursing says too. So that's my motion. HB 2612.
Did I hear a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded to lay this bill on the table. The clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. The bill is tabled. Delegate Walker, your next bill is 2669.
Okay, let's see if we can do a little better here with this one, Madam Chair. You should have a minor amendment, I think a one-word amendment, so if the attorney could speak to that.
All right, so moved and seconded to adopt the amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the amendment is before us. Council, if you'd like to report the nature of the amendment.
Yes, Madam Chair. On line 40, after the word shaves, which is stricken through in the introduced bill, insert comma trims.
All right, Delegate, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. HB 2669 comes at the recommendation of the Board for Barbers and Cosmetologists. This bill seeks to amend the definition of the cosmetology to clarify the cosmetic treatments that are not included in such definitions currently. This bill ensures that professionals only perform services when they are properly trained. For example, current law allows cosmetologists to perform straight razor shaves, which is a barbering practice without the required training. Under current code poses a risk to the public health and safety and creates a confusion between who can perform these treatments. The proposed changes narrowly defines the scope of cosmetology and provides clarity between the professions in order to protect the health and safety of the public. And this is the bill, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
So just a
Delegate.
minor change there with the shaving there.
Okay, any questions from the committee? Anyone here in the audience to speak in favor of this bill?
Hello, Jonathan Moole. I am the CEO of Subcomm Moole International Hair Academy. We train cosmetologists, barbers, among other careers, estheticians as well. All of this came to light during DPOR's reduction on cosmetology training hours from 1,500 hours to 1,000 hours. As they revised that curriculum, the word shaving was brought, or they reviewed the code again and realized the word shaving was in there, and therefore felt the need to put in regulations to train cosmetologists on shaving when historically they've never been trained. Through this process, I worked with the board. They had a regulatory review committee specifically on this. I proposed language as it is here. They unanimously voted to approve it. It then went forward to the full board of barbers and cosmetology. They also unanimously voted to approve it. Due to the timing in which those meetings were, which were in late last year, they had informed me that they were not going to be able to sponsor the bill themselves, and so they encouraged me to go to my local delegate and get him to sponsor, and so that's where we are. The board recommends it. They completely support it. Basically, if this bill does not pass, there are 18,000 plus cosmetologists in Virginia who could perform a straight razor shave without having any training or passing any test to perform said straight razor shave. That can kill people. It is a grave safety risk for the public. Barbers, they're trained on straight razor shaving, they're tested on it in their licensing exam, and therefore they do perform it. So this is just to amend the definition and basically align the code of Virginia with the scope of practice of the industry, and therefore will allow DPOR to revise those regulations and not have to deal with this headache of tens of thousands of licensed cosmetologists who currently, under the way the law is written, can perform these straight razor shaves. That's also going to create an issue because no other state trains straight razor shaving as well. So cosmetologists coming into the state would also be grandfathered into performing said service without any training or testing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone here to speak against the bill? Any questions from the committee?
Madam Chair,
Delegate Krizek.
I move to report as amended.
Moved and seconded to report the bill. The clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll and bill reports. Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I hope to come back and visit with you again next year.
Looking forward to it. All right, Delegate Singh, you have House Bill 2695.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. This bill came to us from the Board of the Library of Virginia. Madam Chair, this legislation would expand the criteria that the Library of Virginia would be allowed to use to grant honorary Patron of Letters degrees. Currently, the Library Board is authorized to grant these honorary degrees to individuals who have made outstanding contributions in the realms of history, library, or archival science. This bill would expand those categories to include arts, humanities, or information. This would allow the Library of Virginia to recognize the achievements and contributions of, for example, novelists, literacy advocates, poets, musicians, and others whose creative achievements and careers center around and celebrate the written word. There is no fiscal impact to this legislation. And Madam Chair, the chair of the Library Board couldn't be here, but he submitted a statement online in support. I'd be happy to read it or happy to defer to you.
I think if you'd like to make sure that we receive a copy, that would be excellent, but
Sure.
We appreciate, the recognition of his support of this measure. Are there any questions from the committee at this time before we open to the room? If not, I'd like to ask if there's anyone in the room here to speak in favor of the bill, other than the letter that comes from the chair, and anyone in the room to speak in opposition to the bill. All right, is there a motion from the committee?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a motion that we, obviously this is a closed book. We're going to, that we pass House Bill 2695. It's getting worse, sorry.
Do I hear a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded to report the bill. Clerk will open the roll. All right. Clerk will close the roll of bill reports. Thank you, Delegate. Delegate Simon? This is another fun one.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. First, I have some line amendments that maybe someone can move my line amendments.
Move the line amendments.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the line amendments are before
Because
us.
line amendments are technical in nature, they just correct a couple typographical errors to make sure that we're talking about ear piercing and ear piercing salons. So you may be wondering, how did Delegate Simon get interested in ear piercing, Bill, right? Well,
Wow.
how? Well, I mean, I think the answer will be obvious when you hear the name of the Virginia business that came to us seeking this legislation. But I'll let somebody else say the name of the Virginia business. But I think they'll understand why I brought this. So what this bill comes down to is there are two kinds of, right now in Virginia, we have a body piercing license that makes no distinction for those businesses that only pierce ears. And so in order to pierce ears, in theory, you've got to go and do all the training that's required and get all the certifications and become a fully licensed and trained body piercer. Now, there's an exception in regulation. It actually hasn't been in statute before this bill. This bill kind of will fix that part as well. But there's an exception for ear piercing with a gun. So if you go to the mall and there's a stand that wants to do ear piercing, you can get there and they put the little gun up to your ear and it inserts a stud. That's been exempted from licensure by regulation, arguably not by law, but the law would allow that. But then there's another category that includes the business that brought this bill to our attention that does ear piercing with needles. So they use a one-time use sterile needle, and they use that to pierce the ear. It causes less tissue trauma that way. It's more sterile. It's safer for everyone. The problem is, because they used a needle, they weren't necessarily exempt from having to get this whole body piercing license. So what the bill does, solves that problem by creating a separate category. Defines an ear piercing salon, creates a separate category for an ear piercing license for those that use needles, doesn't exempt them from licensure or anything else. They still have to go through a training process. It'll just be different. DPOR will develop regulations specific to ear piercing. And then it also gives DPOR the authority to have different classes of ear piercing licenses. So if we want to start licensing the folks that use the gun versus the folks that use the needle versus some other technology that may emerge for piercing ears, DPOR will now have the flexibility to do all of that. So it cleans up this area of the code. Very, very important. And I'm sure that you'll hear the name of the client shortly. You'll understand why I was picked for this bill.
Thank you. Thank you, Delegate. We'll go ahead and hear anyone here to speak in favor of the bill.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the committee. B. Gonzalez with studs.com. Delegate Simon is going to win the bet by not getting to say the company name, although they are getting a lot of airtime and advertising at the Capitol this year. I wanted to bring to your attention how robust their apprenticeship program is, and which is the amendments that have been moved were with our working with DPOR. The company has 31 studios across 12 states, including the District of Columbia, and they were coming to Tyson's Corner and realized that Virginia has a different type of licensure. So their program consists of approximately 1,300 hours of training, including 6 weeks and 240 hours of in-person training by their piercing educator on site at one of their stud studios. Then they have a piercing educator that studs.com studio. And then they have a remaining, I'm going to lose this bet, remaining 1,080 hours of training, and the training are dedicated to the practical experience of providing actual ear piercing services. So this is a very simple bill. It has already flown through the Senate. We've worked with DPOR. We have a very, like I said, extensive training program that will be codified in regulations hopefully this summer, and hopefully we'll be opening a couple of studios across the Commonwealth this fall. So do you have any questions for me?
Any questions from the committee? Delegate Lefwich has a question. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So as I understand it, this elevates the level of qualification for someone who uses a needle as opposed
yes.
to a gun.
So
that's the brunt of it. Okay.
Our client only uses a needle. I did not realize before I learned through the process how many places you can pierce the ear, and there are different gauges for needle and different sizes, and so that's what this is all about.
Any other questions from the committee? Delegate Seawold has a question. Madam Chair. Delegate? Madam Chair.
Too many questions.
Too many questions.
We were just, the committee was just curious if we only are piercing ears at studs.com, or are there other things being pierced?
We are only piercing ears. That's studs.com only pierces the ears. Body piercers pierce other parts of the body. We are only ear piercing only by statute.
All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition to this bill?
Come on, you guys.
Any other questions for the patron about this bill?
Madam Chair.
Delegate McClure?
Just wondering if the patron will utilize this form of ear piercing after this bill passes.
Madam Chair, I was waiting till second read to bring somebody from studs.com onto the floor. I thought we might be able to do a demonstration. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see if the speaker gives me dispensation to let somebody on the floor to do that.
All right. Do we hear a motion from the committee?
I second that.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to report the bill. Clerk will open the roll. As amended, with amendments.
This has to get.
Yeah. All right. Clerk will close the roll. Bill reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members of the committee. Sorry to keep you guys here so late.
Okay. We did it to ourselves.
Yep. All right. So I think remaining at the committee is a member of the committee's bills to be heard. Delegate McClure, you've got 2557. I'm picking yours because the others are doubles, I think. Well, there's action we have to do. Anyway, 2557, if you are ready.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I have an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. That is before us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The substitute adds a reference to the real estate broker voluntary compliance statute as required by deport staff, or requested by deport staff. Also removes the emergency clause within this bill. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, HB 2557 would simply clarify that unlicensed property managers can continue to sign the form leases and other landlord documents required by state and federal law. In 1988, the General Assembly unanimously passed legislation to allow unlicensed property managers under supervision of a real estate broker to perform certain real estate activities related to working with prospective tenants for residential dwelling units. In the last several years, there's been confusion as to whether unlicensed property managers can sign the usual documents in a residential leasing transaction between a landlord and a tenant. This bill clarifies that authority, which streamlines the process for folks getting into housing. Madam Chair, I hope that the subcommittee will vote favorably for HB 2557. And he needs no introduction, but I have the former delegate Chip Dix here prepared to offer any testimony in support of this bill to answer any technical questions.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Delegate. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? All right. Anyone in the audience that would like to come up and speak in favor of the bill?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Chair and members of the committee. The delegate has explained the bill with no additional explanation needed. The industry, all the stakeholders of the industry support this. We've worked out the language with DPOR. Don't think there's any opposition. Happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
Question.
Delegate Creasing?
Is this just residential real estate?
It is just residential real estate.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? Anyone else here to speak for the bill?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Bisma Ahmed with the Apartment and Office Building Association and the Virginia Apartment Management Association. We also very strongly support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Erin Corman with the Realtors. We also support the bill.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any other questions or a motion? Motion to report?
Second.
Moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. Okay. All right. The clerk will close the roll. The bill reports. Thank you, Delegate. All right. Okay, so next we've got a kind of roll-in administrative action here. We have similar bills, which are House Bill 2572, patroned by Delegate Lefwich, and House Bill 1611, patroned by Delegate Cole. So I believe the agreement and understanding is that we are going to roll House Bill 2572 into House Bill 1611. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, those bills are incorporated. Delegate Cole, would you like to present 1611?
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 1611, I would move the substitute, first of all.
Move substitute.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the substitute is before us. Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 1611, as substituted, proposes changes to the Department of Human Resource Management's hiring practices, specifically focusing on hiring based on direct experience. This initiative aligns with Governor Youngkin's executive order issued in May of 2023, which eliminated degree requirements and preferences for nearly 90% of state classified positions, aiming to expand opportunities for qualified applicants and enhance the state's ability to deliver quality services. Additionally, President Biden's executive order signed in January of 2025 emphasizes restoring merit-based hiring practices in the federal government, focusing on practical skills and dedication to the Constitution. By adopting similar reforms here at the state level, our Commonwealth can enhance its workforce by prioritizing practical experience and skills over formal educational credentials, thereby attracting a broader pool of qualified candidates and improving the efficiency and effectiveness of state services. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Delegate Cole. Any questions for the patron? Anyone in the room who would like to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone in the room who would like to speak in opposition to the bill? Do I hear a motion?
Move to report. Second.
Moved and seconded to report the bill as amended. And the clerk will open the roll. All right, the clerk will close the roll. The bill reports. All right, Delegate Cole, you've got one more. 1610.
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 1610 sets, I think I have a substitute on this one too.
Move substitute.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.
I'm
substitute is
sorry,
before-
it's
oh,
amendment, not a substitute.
Okay, let's redo the motion then.
Withdraw the motion, new motion to move the amendment.
Second.
All right, the amendment has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the amendment is before us.
Thank you,
Delegate.
Madam Chair. HB 1610 sets a 7-year statute of limitations on actions to collect state debts, similar to the protections already in place for credit debt, which falls off credit reports after 7 years. Additionally, last year we passed HB 34, which Governor Youngkin signed into law, establishing a 3-year statute of limitations for medical debt collection, further reinforcing the idea that outdated debts should not burden Virginians indefinitely. This bill ensures and promotes financial stability for individuals across the Commonwealth, and as a promise to working Virginians who are most likely the most impacted by this current practice, by passing this legislation, we are giving a hand up to those who need it the most. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Any questions from the committee on this bill? All right, is there anyone here to speak in favor of the bill?
Yes, Madam Chair, Jay Spear with the Virginia Poverty Law Center. We support the bill, and we thank Delegate Cole for bringing this bill, and for the same reasons he's said in his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone here to speak in opposition to the bill? All right, do I hear a motion?
I move House Bill 1610, to report House Bill 1610 as amended.
Moved and seconded. The clerk will open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. The bill reports. Thank you, Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members
All right.
of committee.
And thank you for your patience, Delegate Leftwich. I think you've got our last bill before us tonight, which is 2573.
Okay, if I do that from the...
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So House Bill 2573 has 3 main tenets of changes being made to current statute. The first is that a doctor who is ringside for a boxing match is required to have 3 years of experience. This would reduce that to 3 years and also allow that qualification to extend to a certification from any state. As I understand it, the rationale behind changing this part of the statute is because there's a shortage of doctors who are prepared to serve in that capacity. And I do believe there might be, yes, there's an amendment in the nature of a substitute, and I move that, or ask that be adopted.
All right, I hear a motion. Is there a second to adopt the substitute? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the substitute's before us. Delegate Leftwich.
Okay, all right. The second change would be to define bout, expedition bout, as one that does not have a declared winner, which keeps that in line with the intentions of an expedition. And then the last change would, currently, the gate receipts for one of these activities is required to be submitted within 24 hours, and extend that to 2 weeks. And the rationale for that, as I understand it, is to allow the promoter to collect the fees, process the fees, and turn them in a timely fashion, which they're really unable to do now. So it gives them a more reasonable period of time to do that, which will increase compliance. I believe someone may be here from DPOR to provide further comment.
All right. If there's any, we'll just go ahead and take testimony then. If there's anyone here to speak in favor of the bill, please come forward.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Steve Kirshner from DPOR. We do thank Delegate Leftwich for bringing the bill and for his adept explanation of the bill, and certainly happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Any questions from the members of the committee? All right. Yes, Delegate Siebel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious, question for the patron. Is there a, I'm trying to understand why we're asking to lower the number from 5 to 3? Am I getting that straight?
Yes. Apparently my explanation of it didn't resonate, so I'm going to have the representative from DPOR go into further detail on that issue.
Yeah, Madam Chair, in response to the question, for us, all the doctors that are used at these events are approved by DPOR, and it's a relatively small number of doctors who have the interest and desire to participate in this, and frequently we'll have doctors who are licensed in other states that are willing to come into Virginia and do this and get licensed in Virginia and do it, but right now under the statute you have to hold the Virginia license for 5 years in order to be eligible. So this essentially says you have to hold a Virginia license and have 3 years of experience. And typically the doctors who are participating are emergency room doctors, and it's a relatively small pool that we draw from.
Madam Chair, if I could follow up on that.
Yep.
And so actually we had a discussion about this, and I kind of insisted that those doctors be approved by the director and no one else. So it's not something that can be delegated to ensure the quality of the physician is, and someone specific is responsible, as opposed to, I don't know who did that. So, as I understand it, the way it's drafted, this cannot be delegated by the director to anyone else. Those names have to hit his desk, and he has to approve their qualifications before they can serve in that capacity. It's kind of a check and a balance.
Any other questions from the committee? All right. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to the bill? All right. Committee operates by motion. All right. It's been moved and seconded to report the bill. Clerk will open the roll. All right. Clerk will close the roll, and the bill reports. And I believe that completes the work of our subcommittee today. And I believe it completes the work of our subcommittee on House bills. All right. We will be hearing bills that were heard in our subcommittees this week at the full general laws meeting, which will begin, we hope, around 6:05. So thank you all. And do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.